Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of Cut It Out. I'm Pete Wright with Canon USA, and I'm joined today with John Panazzo with Color Software. And today we're coming to you with a whole new topic based on some of the requests and questions that people have been asking on the new magnetic media and how to not only print to it, but to cut it in terms of being able to do things like magnets that you put on your refrigerator and things like that. So this is one of those things that I have limited experience with compared to you, John. I know the applications, and I've heard you talk about it. We've discussed it a lot of times, but I've yet to actually see it work and actually see it happen. So I'm kind of excited to get a little knowledge today. Tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah, we're going to look at a product by Magnum Magnetics, and it's a product called Digimag, and they make it in both a gloss and a matte. And I'll put a link in the descriptions below to their website and what the product name is. It comes in I think 25-foot rolls and 50-foot rolls, and also sheets. I haven't experimented with the sheets at all, but I have used the rolls. Along with printing on the Canon, both a 2000, Pro 2000 and a Pro 2100. And as we'll see when we roll the video, I was really surprised at the 2100, how easy it was to load the media. I was really expecting something way more difficult than what it is. So back to the media itself, here's the magnetic side of it. Here's the printed side of it.
And I want to say that's what,
media,
13 mil?
What's that?
I want to say that's like that's a 13 mil option, right?
I haven't measured it, but I believe it is around 12
I want to say
13 mils.
I want to say I had a discussion with Dave Rice yesterday, and he was saying that there are a couple of different mil thicknesses. There's a 13 mil thickness, which he recommended, and then there was a heavier one, which he's like, there's applications for it, but for what we're doing, the 13 mil was the best. So
yeah, and there's some people there, if you have a specific application other than refrigerator magnets and things like that, if you're thinking of sticking it on a car, I think you ought to have a conversation with the salespeople there to look at the magnetic strength. And they make all kinds of products, so you'll have to have some experience of which ones will go through the printer and all that good stuff. Today we're going to talk about sort of the general media that's used for I'd say more refrigerator magnets, things like that, just kind of around the office, around the house kind of stuff. And they do have color profiles available for it. I went online, I had to fill in a little form with some information. They sent me a link to download the Canon AM1X file. And that's a whole new story. We'll probably have to do an episode strictly on the Canon media.
the AM1X is the custom media types.
Yeah, how to load the AM1X file, to the printer, update the driver, and that kind of stuff. So in this episode, we're going to assume that you know how to do that and whatnot. Leave a link in the comments below, or a comment in the comments below, to let us know if that's something that you really want, us to cover sometime, and we'll do that.
And there's definitely resources out there online where you can search Canon's media configuration tool that walk you through all of that.
Yeah.
In fact, Dave Rice and I filmed one yesterday that should be coming out in the next couple of weeks or so. So there's resources out there on media configuration tool if you need to know how to load existing custom medias or create your own for things like this.
Yeah, and I recommend that everybody with a Pro Series Canon printer run the custom media tool, because it will update your media list, right? Canon does update these medias, and it's
pretty regularly.
Yeah, it's good to make sure you have the latest in your printer and in your driver as well. So it's a good thing to do. But that aside, what we're going to do is I've prepared a little video. We're gonna jump into that and take a look, and we'll talk over that and just see how easy it is to load the media, print on it, and cut it. So we'll get that spooled up right here.
Let's see what you got.
Yes.
The great thing about the Pro 2100 is just how easy it is to load and unload media. I mean, it's very automated, so not a difficult process at all.
Yeah, I was, I've printed on the magnetic media a couple times now, and I was really surprised at how easy it was because it is quite a bit, thicker than normal paper that you print on. Um, and you'll see here how just simple it was. The auto loading function worked perfectly. I'm just going to stick the spooler in here and just sort of peel off the leading edge and feed it in there. And
And you don't
literally,
even really have to do that. The part that you just did where you fed it in, you don't even have to do that. Now you can just drop the media on, close it, and it will reverse spin it until it finds the lead edge and load it for you.
yeah, but because it's magnetic, it actually sticks to itself. So,
Oh, okay.
so,
So then
so
for
you
that
do
specific
need
media,
to
you
to
do.
do that. Now, here's one mistake I did make, and I kind of cheated because I had looked in the AM1X file and I knew that the media type used was a glossy 170.
So
But
instead of going to the custom,
I should have just gone to custom and chose the actual custom media because it was in the list. But I didn't do that, so that's one thing that if you're watching this, don't yell at me. It is the mistake I did make, but it doesn't really matter because the software here you see I'm going to load the actual AM1X file from the software, and we'll take a look at that, and you'll see it show up under the custom media list right here.
yep, there you go.
Have both the matte and the gloss. I'm printing on the glossy media right now, so I'm going to choose that. And once I do that, everything else loads. I don't have to do anything else, change the quality, and that's really it. I'm ready to drop in the files and start printing. I'm just going to make sure I have no spaces top and bottom because I don't want to waste media. This stuff is a little more expensive than paper.
Yeah, and never want to waste media anyway. So anytime we can save that media, that's
Yep.
awesome.
All
Got
right.
all of your settings already set for the cutting.
Yeah. So what I like to do for the hanger size on the magnetic media is, and this is might be a little counterintuitive, but I actually set it at 1. So it's basically 1/10 of a millimeter hanger. And I can actually probably get away with a kiss cut. Although if I'm cutting a lot of things, it does kind of scare me. I want something hanging on to it. The magnetic media has a structure that holds it together by itself. But what we do is we cut it in 2 cuts. So you can cut it in a single cut. I find it's easier on the blade to do it in 2 cuts. So what I do is when I start to set up my cut, I go with less force. I use a force of about 20, and I would say 15 to 20, depending on how new your blade is. You can, if you got a brand new blade, you could probably get by with 15. If your blade's a little bit older, I would say 20. And you just simply, and we'll see it here, you just run the cut job once, and then you just immediately run it again. And it's kind of like an onion. The first cut scores it, kind of opens up the material. Then you come back with the second cut, and then it just peels right out.
Hey, so I just want to point out, in my defense, these are both images that I took, and the girl with the soccer ball, that's not where the ball was as she was kicking it. We moved it there so that from a nesting perspective, it would take up the least amount of space.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
after it cuts out, you put it in front of her.
yeah. So here we are. We're going to set the force to 20.
Mhm.
And a little bit before that, we kind of showed the little loop that comes with the cutter. You put the blade in there. The blade depth is set right at the number 4 line, which is 4/10 of a millimeter.
Now, do you have anything on there to keep the magnetic material from sticking to the cutter at all?
It
Or do you
doesn't.
need?
No, you don't need
Okay,
anything. And you can see here,
awesome.
it's cutting out the contours right now. And this will be the first pass that we do. And like you said about the soccer ball, it really doesn't matter because it cuts out as a separate contour.
Separate
So
piece, and then you can move it out
once
in
it's
front.
cut out, you can move it wherever you want to.
Yeah, I think the problem with that is if I ever did that here, my kids would just stick that soccer ball wherever they wanted all over the house and
Yep.
have a magical moving soccer
Yep.
ball.
So here's after the second cut,
So you've
and
made two passes at this point.
we've done two passes, and we're just gonna kind of pull it apart.
So just a light pop to get it started, and then it
Yeah,
works
there's a
pretty
lot of
well.
detail in this. You don't actually can see it because we're not zoomed in on it, but you don't want to rip any of that detail. So yeah, just kind of pop it out, kind of
Work
just
it a little bit.
pinching it and kind of pulling it to get it started, to pop it out. And it comes right out, and the print quality is really amazing on it. It like I said, it's been profiled. It's really a super product. I'm very happy with it.
Well, and
Going
it's just
around
one of
the
those things that I think whenever we talk about this specific media to potential end users, they're surprised to hear that there's anything even like this out there.
right,
Because most
right,
people, when they think of large format inkjet printers, the last thing they think of is magnetic material. So
right.
there's just so many really cool things out there that companies keep producing that allow us to do really cool stuff.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna stick it on the metal case there, and pop out the ball, and that's it. It's really really simple.
That's way cool. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're a third party vendor, let's say you're a photographer that photographs team and individual sports, here's an entire product line that you have available to you that you can do yourself and not have to outsource. And I mean, look, I'm a parent. I've got 14-year-old twins. My son plays soccer. I can tell you that that would be a hit in our house. I mean,
Oh yeah.
to be able to put a magnet of my son on the refrigerator and, have him move it wherever he wants and just do some fun things with it.
I
That's a
think
very
if you're a photographer, or somebody who does print for pay, this is one, and you're sitting on the fence on whether you want, you can justify a cutter or not. This is one of those things that may push you over the fence. It
Mhm.
may be one of those things that I can sell enough of this, to really justify it.
Well, and if you're just a point of purchase place, like a store that has a printer and lets customers come in to be able to offer magnetic business cards. I mean, if I'm a
Yeah,
real estate agent, if I could get magnetic business cards that I could give somebody
yeah,
so that if they need to remember where I am, they could just pop it on the refrigerator, or a dentist office or a doctor's office with appointment cards. Imagine putting all of your appointment cards on a magnet so that you give it to your patient, they take it home and they stick it on the refrigerator, and there's that constant reminder. There's so many applications, so many things you can do with it. That's just really cool. I know my boss Dave, he actually did test this exact same thickness on his car. He said he drove around with it for months up in the Cleveland area in Ohio, and it did fine up there. He drove up to I think 80 miles per hour, which I'm calling BS on that. I think he was probably
yeah.
going more than 80. I've been with him, and it never came off. He said the only issue he had was when he went through the car wash with it, because car washes use a solvent for cleaning the cars, that the solvent did make it run. So he went and did it again. And the next time he actually coated it, he coated it twice. He used a Hanemule lacquer coating on one, and he used a LexJet, like a satin coating on the other, and just a light coating, and ran it through the car wash, and nothing came off. It was perfect. So for those outdoor applications, just outdoors in regular weather, no running, no issues. In car washes where you're dealing with solvent based soaps and stuff, it can cause some problems, but the coating takes care of that. So there's those applications as well. There's a lot that it can really do. So if you think about it from that perspective, if you wanted to provide magnets to put on the side of work trucks, you could do that and just know, hey, well, let me put a spray solvent on it, which is a quick spray, and then you're done. And now it's going to be weather resistant for outdoors as well.
Yeah, it's a really nice media thing to have in your arsenal, and to be able to contour cut it, uh, just makes it all that more exciting.
Absolutely. Well, that's
So
really cool.
yeah, and that's it on how really simple it is. to print and cut the Digimag media. And like I said, I'll put a link in the description to the website and the product name, which is Digimag. And leave your comments. Anybody had any experience with it? Let us know, and we'll close out this episode and
Yeah,
get
absolutely.
ready for the next one.
Yeah, if you have any ideas of ways or applications these could be used, let us know. We can try them out and test them and see how they work. And as always, we always like to tell you, if there's something you want to hear us talk about or see us test or see us do an episode on, please leave in the comments. We do pay attention to the comments, and that does definitely drive us and guide us in terms of what we talk about in these. And we want to give you the information we think is going to help you. So give us your topics, and we'll make sure that it's on the list and try to get it done as quickly as possible. As always, I'm Pete Wright, and with John Panazzo. Thanks for joining us on Cut It Out.